All right, so we went through the meticulous process, of course, unplugging everything from the board, taking our toothbrush. I would tend to scrape down like this. It seems to get each bristle to go and pick up better on the stuff that was stuck to the board. We cleaned up pretty much everything you have here. You have your two batteries, you have your board, you have your pressure release valve, and you have your pump. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a function check to verify that the parts are all working. Not that maybe we got a bunch of milk in the pump or something else is weird. So being careful not to touch anything more than what I have to on this board. Going to start up the pump. First thing I notice is the pump moving back and forth, actuating, which is good. I rearranged the tubes so that I could do this a little bit better. And what you're hearing here is the pump pumping, and the little spurts of air are from the pressure relief valve, relieving pressure in the system. So I would already tell you that it seems to be working fine. At this point, we're going to shut it off and then reassemble everything. You want to do this making sure to get your buttons in the correct orientation and that this little white thing in here is in the right position. And we will take the board. You can feel free to disconnect it, but for the purposes of this video, I don't plan to. And you'll want to carefully put it in here so that it lines up. You don't want to force anything, otherwise you may wreck it. Changed my mind, just in case I drop a screw. I don't want to have it cross any contacts and put electricity where we don't want it, thus destroying the board and potentially turning the battery into a mini flare. One other thing during the cleanup process that we noticed, or that my wife and I discussed, was that one of the tubes did not appear to be fully connected when we took it apart. Apparently we both noticed this. Just didn't want to say anything initially because I wasn't 100% sure if it was just me. All in all, this isn't a horrible process, but as I have stated, given that it is a breast pump, I would have expected the company who designed this to at least put some form of seals in, not just around the rim, but where the buttons are, where the metallic contacts are up top to lock the cup in. But I get the feeling that repeat customers are what they were thinking about when they designed this. Some of these screws are a little bit of a trouble to get in here. Might also help if you have a decent precision screwdriver set. I just didn't feel like going to get one for the purposes of this video. All right, so at this point, we have our screws back in. Looking at it in this orientation, red is always on the right. You can also note from the grooves on the side of the plug, I don't know if you can see these or not, but they're a little offset. And that should also tell you how they need to be oriented. When you plug it in, you should see a light. If you don't see lights pop on, I'm assuming one of your batteries is probably shot. If you come across any sort of blue or green corrosion in on any of these contacts here, on the last one we did, you can try and clean it up with a little baking soda and rubbing alcohol. I probably wouldn't recommend doing the battery terminals personally. We just brushed it off and put it back together. Obviously corrosion is not ideal, but it is what it is. And then we will commence putting things back together in the way that we originally removed them. It is the batteries on the top and bottom, the pump, gets tucked down in between here. This nozzle needs to go forward. Obviously, during the cleanup process, you'll want to make sure you clean this out decently enough. There's a small notch here. Lines up with the notch here. This will be put in like so. And this here was the tube we believe was actually not fully attached initially, the one that goes into the pump. So then we will want to try and angle this so that we can get the tube to slide onto the pump. I don't know if you can see that decently, but you get the idea. We're going to be careful to tuck our wires back in. So that we don't cut them when we try and reassemble this. If you run into this problem or a problem where it doesn't feel like it's gripping, you probably do not have the screws aligned. We ran into that issue initially in the last one. If all goes well, nothing came disconnected. Should be able to feel plenty of suction, as you did with the product originally. Now, hon, why don't you put your finger on there and tell me if that feels like what it should?
Much better.
All right. I wouldn't recommend you put your plugs back in here because they're a nightmare to get out. Please don't stab yourself. Anyways, just a short recap. This should help you find the issue that you may be having with your pump, whether it be corrosion, a leak in the tubes, something's plugged. And MomCozy, if you get a hold of this video, please start sealing your products up a little better. That's kind of ridiculous. Thank you.